Let's talk about Scribble. Scribble is a website. It's also a add-on and a toolbar. So basically, Scribble will allow you to annotate websites and databases, um, add notes to them, bookmark them, cite them, and then when you're ready to write an essay or put that information together in a project, you can simply um, create a paper within Scribble and add those citations and quoted information and so forth directly into your essay. So let's talk about how to get started. So you're going to go to www.scribble.com. That's Scrible. And then you're going to go ahead and sign in. One of the great things about Scribble is that it works seamlessly with Google, so you can sign in using your Google account. So you'll click the G, and then you'll simply sign in with your school account. Once you've signed in, it's going to take you to your library. You can see I've used this a few times, so I do have items in my library. When you log in for the first time, you will not have any items in your library. It's going to be blank. What you're going to want to do is click on Tools, and then you're going to take this Scribble toolbar and drag it to the top of your page. And then it's going to appear on your bar at the top. The other thing that you could do is go to the browser add-ons and click Install Now. And it's going to ask you if you want to add the extension, and you say Add Extension, and you're going to get a red S at the top of your screen now that you can click. So now that you've got the toolbar or the add-on or both, you're ready to start using Scribble. So whenever you are conducting research, for example, let's say your research is over sports concussions. So we're going to just do a quick search here. And we're going to see what pops up. And once you have used your due diligence and gone through and determined that a website is a credible one that you could use, you've checked who the author is, the sponsor is, the date of last update, etc., and you've done that, you're ready to start using Scribble because you want to include information for possible inclusion in a project or paper. So you're on the website, and you can either click Scribble at the top of your toolbar, or you can click the red S at the top near the URL, depending on which one you downloaded. Once you click on it, you're going to have a Scribble toolbar appear at the bottom of your screen that looks like this. So on this toolbar, you have several options. First of all, this will take you to your library, so I could click on that and it's going to open my library so that anything I include I could see it appear here. If I click this, this is going to let me highlight. I can choose any color I want to highlight, and let's say I would like to keep this information right here, so I could highlight that. Once it's highlighted, I could even change the color, or I could delete it, or I could add a note to it. If I want to add a note outside of what I've just highlighted, I could click the notepad right here. I could again choose the color, any color I want. So I click on the notepad, and then I choose where on the screen I would like that to be. So let's say I want my notepad to refer to this paragraph right here. And then I can say whatever it is I would like to say about that paragraph. Again, just like with my highlighting, if I want to change the color later because perhaps I discover I have several different types of items that I want to postmark, but I want to organize them in some color-coded fashion, I could simply click on the colors and choose any color I'd like. I could also color things in the text. Again, I could choose the color here, or after coloring something, I could change the color then if I need to do so. And I could attach a note to this as well. Right here, this is underlined, but if you click on the arrow, you could also bold, italicize, or strike through something. So let's say I would like to put this in bold in addition to having it colored. And I also want to put this in bold, and I want to underline this right here. I can do so. If I click on it, I could attach a note to that as well or delete it. So once I'm done marking up my page, I'm ready to cite this page, for example. So right here are some quotation marks. If I click that, I'm going to get this citation tool that automatically pops up. Just like with any citation generator, it might not read everything on that page. So this is missing a website title, so I'm going to go ahead and include that, Ortho Info. It's missing a publisher, so I'm going to add that, American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. And then it wants a published date. So on a website, usually that's at the bottom of the screen or at the top of the article. In this case, it was not at the top, so I'm scrolling to the bottom, and I see that the copyright is 2016, so I'm going to put 2016 there. And there was no date or month, so I'm not going to include that. And then everything else was already there. It had the article title, it had the URL, and it had the date of access. You could change something. For example, my article title is actually just sports concussion, so I could delete that and I'm ready to go. I can choose what format I want to cite it in. Usually you're going to choose MLA, but depending on your teacher, you might need to choose something else. And then you click Cite, and there's your citation right there. You could copy and paste this at this point into a working bibliography or a works cited page if you would like to do so. Other options that I have here would be to view the page without any annotations. So I click on the open eye and it closes it and there are no annotations now. Or if the annotations are gone and I want to see them again, I simply reopen the eye. Right here, this would let me maximize or minimize my notes. So I've taken them away and brought them back. These two buttons will let me undo or redo something if I clicked something I didn't mean to. I can bookmark this page. That would simply be creating a bookmark without any annotations. I could share it via social media or get a permanent link or via email. So I could keep the link right here, or I could email it to an instructor, maybe someone else in the class that I'm collaborating with, or I could simply save it to my library. Saving to your library is going to be what you do most often. The reason for that is if you're emailing something or getting the link, that's only to this one specific page. But if you're doing a project where you need multiple sources, there's no reason not to save all of them and have them in the one location in your library. Not only that, but you could still send them through these methods in your library as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And it's saying that in my library, it's going to save the page name. Again, I could change it. I could add comments if I wanted to. I could add tags as well. Tags are how I'm going to define it so that when I go and look for this again, I could find it under these certain labels. So for example, on this one, I'm going to say definition, concussions, and anything else that I might want to. I see that there's a cause section, so maybe I'll put causes. And then I'm going to click Save. And now it's been saved successfully. So now if I go to my library, you'll see that it's already there. It popped up automatically. It has those tags I applied to it. And if I clicked on it, it would take me back to that page with all of my annotations on it. The great thing about Scribble is it makes it a permanent screenshot. What that means is even if they change this page tomorrow, you're not going back and discovering that something you really needed for your research has been deleted overnight. It's also great because that means when you're looking in databases in Mac and VIA, that it takes a screenshot and creates a permanent link to just that one shot at that time that you were researching. That means that unlike other annotation tools like Digo, you don't have to then go back to Mac and Via and log in and re-find that article because it's just screenshotting that one picture. So it'll be in your library, and when you click on it, it's going to automatically open that screen for you so you can see any annotations you made. So that's a great feature. The citation feature that I showed you, although very cool, does not cite databases correctly at this time. However, it will give you a starting point. So it's going to cite those database articles just like websites, and that's okay. You can go in and then edit the citation as you'd like to make it accurate for a database. So looking in my library, I now have these items in here, and I can do multiple things with them. First of all, as soon as I select one, I could then delete it. I could email it Twitter or Facebook like I noted. I could add pages to it or tag it. I could export it. Exporting is going to do a couple things for me. Number one, if I just want citations for an annotated bibliography or a working bibliography, or for a works cited page, I would click Citations to Bibliography. And when I do so, there's that one that's in the bibliography. If I had checked multiple of them and then I had done Export and then Citations to Bibliography, all of them would be in my bibliography. So now I've got several of these. It's going to automatically format it for me, and it's going to put them in alphabetical order. Your teacher may want you to go ahead and double space it, change the font, call it works cited, something like that, but you can certainly do so. The other thing that's going to happen once I select something, if I were to export it, you could do annotations to summary. So when I click that, all of the things that I noted on there are now summarized in a note card format. The last thing I could do would be to annotations to paper. So if I click all of these and then do annotations to paper, I can either create a paper or add it to an existing paper. For example, I've already created a concussion paper, so I could add it to that. Or maybe this is a whole new project, so I'm going to call this Sports Concussions. Now what this is going to do for me when I create a paper is it's going to have all of my notes for me right here and all of the annotations that went with it, the titles, etc. If I want to include the bibliography, I click Include Bibliography and it automatically appears on my page. I can move it around. I can add items to it. For example, if it's cited as a website but it's actually a database, I could change the title of it, so center and put Works Cited. I could then double space it. I have all of these same features that I would have in a Microsoft Word or Google Drive. And I could also just start typing my paper directly here. I can tab or indent, and I could write. So the body of my paper will go here. So this is great for drafting and creating this. Once you're done with that, you could save it. You could view it to see what it looks like. You could email it to yourself and or share it with somebody else like your teacher. You could create a link so that you could turn in a link and your teacher could see this directly linked, etc. So that's the breakdown of how to create a paper and how to annotate. There are a couple other options in Scribble. For example, you can see here I could click on a tag, and if I do that, it's only going to pull up those items that are under that category. So if I'm trying to look for something specific, I could do that. I could get bookmarks from other places. Maybe you have a Delicious account and you want to bring all those bookmarks you've done for research previously, and here you could do it. You could filter and just look at the web pages that you've looked at. So those are just the websites I've been to. You could look at the papers you've created or any bookmarks you've made. Remember that if you do a bookmark, it has no annotations, which is why you don't see any bookmarks there for any use there. You could see sent, if you've sent it to anybody or if you've received anything from anybody. So this is a great way to collaborate with peers you're working with as well, or with your teacher if they want to see what notes you've taken. So that's a quick snapshot of Scribble. I hope you're excited about this tool as I am. I think it's going to make your research life much easier.